And we are live. That's amazing. See, even a Luddite like me can make things go live, Trevor. I can make it happen.
Excuse me? What was that word you just used?
I said a Luddite. I don't even know what it means. I just said it. I don't really know what it means. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this out on the Twitters. Dude, I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to calling it X.
No. Well, as you're doing that, let me just point this out. At my end of the studio tonight's live is sponsored by Burnt Out Wreck English Sizer.
I should be on that. I'm about to. Yeah, I've got a big day today. I have a big day today. I have a big day every day. Look at you. You know what's funny? You know what was funny? Because I was looking at this. I'm looking. You know this amazing technology. I can go and I can look on. I can go and look on live on YouTube, and I can see that right now it looks like you got your head cut off. I don't know if that's real. Go and slouch down. What was great is what people don't realize that earlier on you had like all this like foliage coming around. It was like we were doing a reenactment of Predator. So let's see. Anyone there? Hey, Lila. Good evening. How you doing? Get to the chopper. You know, it's true. So when I did Rambo, we went. This is a funny little story actually. So Trev, I went to the premiere and it was in Las Vegas, right? And so I'm walking into Planet Hollywood's giant hotel, and they say, okay, you got to come down. You're going to be walking through, And I'm like, what you don't want to do is be behind the main star, right? I did that at Pirates of the Caribbean at a premiere I went to, and I was behind Johnny Depp, and it was just like, hey, Gwen, hey, Anne, Grumpy
Don't
Sapper.
Gamble, though. If you're in Vegas, when in Vegas, don't gamble. You could lose everything.
So honestly, I'm there, right? And I go down the, there's like an escalator down there. And I'm behind Tito Ortiz, and Tito Ortiz is like this giant human being, right? He's massive. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm behind this, like, it was like being behind a wardrobe, right? He was just walking along. And then they go, come on, we've got to have cast pictures. And you can see this. You can go online and see this picture. I wish I was technically savvy enough to pull this up. But Arnie walks over to me, right? And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, this is, hey, Brandy, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he comes over and he goes, congratulations on your movie. I was like that's just totally random. And I was actually taller than him. True story. I went to, if you go to Warner Brothers, the studio in Los Angeles, they have a museum there, and they have all these Batman, like they'll rotate it up. They have Batman costumes when I went there last time. And they had the Mr. Freeze. And it was really small. I was like, it wasn't like really small like this, but it was small. So, how you doing, Trevor?
I'm doing okay, actually. Do you know what? Things are good. Things are really good. I have to watch what I say tonight, but you followed my online bullshit for the last 5 years, probably, and you've seen how it's developed.
I haven't. I was actually part of it as well. Thank you very much, trolls. Yeah, thank you.
I know. Well, it's all coming to a head now. It really is. I think things changed. Things started to change about 2 weeks ago, maybe 2.5 weeks ago, whenever Suffolk Police put in for a charter, which was to get the people behind, the individuals behind the accounts on X. So the police are there. I'm going to meet up this Saturday. I've got to see one of the inspectors at Suffolk headquarters, and we're going to go through things. And I'm going to be able soon, I'm going to be able to name at least 2 people behind X accounts that are vile, disgusting individuals. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being vindicated from all this bullshit. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
I do want to say this in front of the other people that have come on here, because me and you, there was a period of time like we'd be speaking to each other every day, right? Like pretty much every day. And now we speak to each other, a couple of times a week, maybe more than that. But one of the most frustrating things that I found was that, you're out there because, we connected and I'm involved in a lot of like veterans charities over in the United States and raised a decent amount of money for them. You don't really want to go out there and say that like, hey, listen, that's not me. But there's a reason why I'm saying it is because, I had people come after me and troll me because of my association with you. And you know what? If they think I'm going to back off one of my buddies, what the fuck are they thinking, Trevor? Like, that's not the way we operate, right? We don't operate
No,
like that.
I agree.
And and I know the truth, but what the real thing that's frustrating for me is why are these people trying to stop you from raising money for good causes? Like, I don't understand it, right?
Well, the thing is, I've looked at this now. There's three men, three middle-aged men on X. Some have YouTube accounts. Now, these are individuals that don't have a woman in their lives. They don't have children in their lives. They don't have anything good in their lives. When they were in the military, they achieved virtually nothing. They've got no war stories. They don't wear any medals. They are pathetic. These are the individuals that veterans that watch this, you have a certain type of veteran. You've got veterans that go away, do stuff, come back, chill, get on with it, right? Try and help others. Veterans that when they were serving in the military, they were the waste of space people. They were the ones you sent on area cleaning. They were the ones you give the shit job to because you couldn't trust them with anything decent. You wouldn't trust them to point in the right direction. So, and they hated it. These guys hated the army. They hated it. But see, now they're out the army. They run around with their little berets on and their little regimental vests and things and all. And now they all join the British Legion. They want to carry the flags.
But they're standing they're standing on the shoulders of giants, right?
Yes,
I mean, that's what they're doing.
But that's what they do. They see other veterans around there. I spoke to a veteran today, actually, who's had to stand down from a charity, who was doing quite well in a charity, done great work. I'm going to have him on my podcast soon. Spoke to him today. And he's had the same trouble where he gets veterans that go out and help others usually get attacked by veterans that haven't achieved anything.
It's unbelievable to me. I genuinely, Trev, I don't get it.
I seen a veteran the other day, buddy. I seen a veteran the other day using his name in a verified account on Twitter, and he was posting things like, "I can't believe that Trevor's attacking Atlanta of Arcadia." Atlanta of Arcadia is a troll account. And he was going, how dare Trevor go after a veteran with PTSD? Going after a veteran?
What?
No. I called out a veteran that did 2 weekends in an AFI, that drove around Bosnia in a car driving the Padre. That's his operational experience. And he's complaining to have PTSD.
Yeah, but even that, Trevor, it's like, do you even watch what they've been doing to you over the past few years? I mean, look, and I'm going to tell all the people out there that have been trolling you that you're going to try and break a man like Trevor Colt. Good luck. That doesn't happen. And you know what? For every one shitbag there is out there, I'm seeing all these people come up on the chat right now. You're all awesome. You know who Trevor is. I know who Trevor is. We've had a lot of great discussions away from the public eye. And the shit that you've been through, dude, I cannot wait until the moment that you are vindicated for all this. It is absurd. You are such a force for good for the veteran community. But look, I've said, you see this online. I mean, I get this online as well, right? It's like, if I make a comment on something, they'll go, who? Z-lister. D-lister. I'm like, when they say to me like D-lister, I'm like, wow, I was a Z-lister or a Z-lister like last week, so now I'm a D-lister. At least I'm going up. You know what I mean? Like, no, but I don't know, Trev, anyone that has achieved anything in life, anything or not, and I keep putting this out there on Twitter, right? Because they put other people down and they try and crush people, but I've never known anyone that has achieved anything in life that puts other people's careers down. I don't understand it.
I know. I mean, there's an account on Twitter called Trevor Walt, and I'm like, Trevor Walt? I mean, I just laugh at that, you know what I mean? And only someone that hasn't achieved anything would accuse somebody that's led men in war, in battle, operations, got a military cross. I mean, only someone that hasn't achieved anything would accuse someone else of not doing it. It's pathetic. But it's funny though, mate. I mean, I don't I'm going to be honest. I've got thick skin. I mean, I've been shot up, blown up the lot, mate. I know this will end up in a meme on Twitter by a troll account, but I actually
Whatever.
encourage that. I actually encourage that. The more shit thrown on Twitter about me, the more there is. You know, for every tweet I see, I just see about an extra 1 or 2 days added onto someone's custodial sentence. I just laugh now, but
Well, this is the problem, and we've look, and I hate this. No, I'm not going to say it because I might get done. But
don't.
there used to be a day where those things would be taken care of. Like things
Yeah,
would just like be resolved. Let's put it like that. But right now, it seems like these individuals get to run rampant, do a lot of damage. And again, listen, they might hate you, right? They might think he's a ginger. We hate
yeah.
him,
Well, it's not
and
really that ginger, mate.
I mean, come
It's
on.
it's going dark in its old age now, though. Yeah, but
No, but
I mean,
you know what I'm saying, Trevor. Like they might be like that, but don't be messing. Like you are effectively hurting people that are living out in the streets. I mean, like I said, I've known this because for you guys, I know you know this about Trevor, but we've been on a phone call, and he's like, "Hey, listen, Matt, I've got to go. There's this guy needs help," and he's gone. And he's doing all that. This is all stuff that nobody knows about. And these people come in and they smear you. And what that does is that stops you from being effective. Even when they were coming after me, I'm like, hang on a minute. I don't have a go at me. I'm trying to raise money for veterans over here and do stuff like with the Gary Sinise Foundation, all these other different charities, as you know, right? Like back in the day with the guys at the Mighty Oaks and supporting all these different great charities that do wonderful things for veterans, look after them. And then they're smearing me. Well, what you do is you stop me from being able to effectively help other people. It's not going to affect my career. Nobody gives a shit about that. What it's going to do is people are going to go, hang on a minute, like I'm not going to donate to anything that Marsden's involved in or anything that Trevor's. And what you're doing is you're hurting other people, you idiots. It's not about us. It's about other people.
Well, I've stopped doing that now. I mean, I don't do. I haven't done just giving fundraisers in a few years. I just share other people's links now and promote them, and that's good enough for me. I'm happy with that. But it's less pressure, though. I mean, when I'm not helping veterans and doing things, it's less pressure. It's less shit. It's less shit to deal with. I'm going to be honest, because you don't realize that whenever you're out there and you're trying to raise money for different things, it's a lot of pressure. It's because different charities need different things. And I remember the Hereford Veterans Hereford Centre in Hereford got in touch with me. I can't remember how many years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they needed to raise money for stuff, and I raised money for them. And they got, I think they got a was it a running and cycling machine or something like that? Or they got that stuff, but. It's not because of me. It's because I've got good subscribers, though. I've got good team around me that.
Yeah.
You're part of that team, Matthew, but I've got good people around me that help lift me up, which is good.
Well, listen, and I want to make this clear. Like, this is why I wanted you to be on my very first experimental live stream, because you were the one that told me that I needed to do this. Like, how long have you been bugging me to do this, Trev?
Like, I've been bugging you to do YouTube probably for about over 3 years anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm like, no.
Well, once your audience lifts up, it starts to grow and grow and grow and grow. It really does. And you've got to. I had an email from YouTube today, actually. So that's.
Is this good? Is it good news? Do we have good news, or is it just like weird news because they don't really pay much attention to your account when it?
I'm never going to let anyone know if it's good news or bad news I get from YouTube, because if I let people know it's good or bad news I get from YouTube, I get trolled. So I'm happy enough the way things are going at the minute. I don't need to be monetized on YouTube. I really don't. I haven't done it since September 2022, about 14 months now. So I'm happy the way things are. I mean, I get sponsorships coming in, and I can't mention them at the minute because when I mention them, they get trolled. So
yeah, they call them up, right, or they email them. I don't understand. Like, live and let live. Like, go and do your own thing, will you? Just go and do your own thing. You know what I mean? I don't understand it.
But I'm also living 3 other people's lives, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, no, but I mean, Trev, it's a weird thing, right? Because going back to the YouTube aspect of it is, I really think that the world needs good leaders. and we really don't have a lot of good leaders in the world. I mean, you look around, there's chaos, there's people that don't know what they're doing. And I think that one of the reasons why you resonate with people is, number one, you're just massively authentic, right? I mean, it helps that you're a war hero. You went over there and you did it for real, and people really love that and respect that. But I think more than anything is that they really appreciate the fact that you are exactly who you are and you don't care about this or that. That's the weird thing, is if people took like 5 minutes to watch a YouTube channel, they'd be like, well, that's who he is. You know what I mean? Like, that's just who he is. I don't know why you're trying to affect him with that.
I know. And you know what? Do you know what? My Achilles heel is being called nasty names. I mean, honestly, that breaks me inside out. I'm like, what? What do you mean I'm a prick? I get that from Gwen. I don't care if people.
I mean, that's part and parcel of that's the funny thing, is part and parcel of daily life, right? I mean,
I know it is, yeah. I
but
know.
so what we're going to try and do, by the way, guys, just so you lot know, is that I want to eventually, and me and Trevor have spoken about this before, but part of the reason for me coming on and doing the YouTube channel, which I didn't really want to do, right? I really didn't want to do, because I'm like, why do people want to listen to a guy that's a meat puppet for a living, right? You know, I know, I say other people's words, all that, blah, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is we have a bunch of stories that need to be told as well, right? So we have, like, Trevor's story. I would love, and you can put in the comments, right? Wouldn't you love to have Trevor's book made into a movie?
First into singing, I would want. Do you know what? Do you know what? Honestly, if we ever do make First into Singing into a movie, this is true. I want my character to be played by Harry, and I want my medic to be played by Meghan Markle.
It'd be a beautiful love story, dude. It'd be beautiful. By the way, I've got to tell you this, because, you know, I haven't waded into the Meghan and Harry thing at all. I know that you. I mean, we've had some discussions about it, but, you know, number one, I have a friend of mine that went to school with her and actually has a videotape of her doing a play when she was.
Don't say anything more. That's enough. That's enough.
It's just that, no, a videotape of her doing a play as a young girl. Like, that's it. Nothing dodgy. So there is that. I know. Trevor's like that. Oh, I'm going to get banned again. No, but there's that. Oh, no, I've forgotten what I was going to say now about the second part of it. Oh, yeah. So I have a buddy that lives he used to live, he grew up right next to where they're living right now. It's probably the most elite place in America to live.
Was it
super elite.
Was it a white neighborhood, Matthew? Was it a white neighborhood?
It's a total white neighborhood. Well, I mean, I think Oprah has a place there, you know, but Ellen has a place there. So, but no, I mean, and there's security everywhere. In fact, he was telling me that people are really pissed off because there's just press there all the time. And that's an area where people just want to be left alone. Right. There's Montecito and Santa Barbara. If you guys haven't been there, it's paradise. It's really amazing.
It's not a slum then.
It's not a slum. No. I mean, it is the elite of the elite. I mean, it's like, yeah. So all right. So Harry's going to play you.
Yeah, I want him to. That way he'll get to hold the rifle and know what a soldier's like. You know what I mean?
He'll be like that. No, you know what? Here's the funny thing about those two. Like, I genuinely thought, because I wasn't, until the Queen died, right? I wasn't really a monarchist. It didn't really, you know, the monarchy didn't really bother me. I knew the economics of it, that actually the monarchy brings in a lot more than they're paid, and a lot of people don't know that. You know, with land and, you know, I mean, I can tell you right now, from an American point of view, if you got rid of the monarchy, the tourism would drop massively, because Americans, even though they fought against the crown, are obsessed with the monarchy. But I always thought that he was going to be the guy. I thought, he's like super cool. He's athletic.
He had it all. Listen, he had it all. And I remember he had it all. I was doing lots of stuff in the media at the time. Remember, every other weekend I was in the papers doing something, working with different journalists. And I remember speaking to Sean Raymond, Mark Nichol, and Richard Kurjab, David Willits and the Sun, Deborah Hayes, just all the different journalists, and we were chatting away. And I did a thing on Sky News with Kay Burley about the veterans, how we were going to move things. And then I was asked by a friend, get in touch with the Royal Foundation. At the end of the day, veterans need help. They've served the Crown. The Crown should be supporting them. And I went, that's a good idea. So I got in touch with the Royal Foundation. It went really well, actually. My initial approach went really, really well. Now, here's what happened, and I still have this letter. I received a letter from Kensington Palace, from Prince Andrew's private secretary. And I have it at home, honestly. And it became a big drama because I got a letter from Kensington Palace saying, Harry's private secretary, Harry likes to thank you for all the work you're doing with veterans, blah, blah, blah. Harry would support this, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So that was the letter they sent out. So that's what they do. On the surface, he supported veterans and wanted to help. But then I was in the kitchen one day and my phone rang. And it was a gentleman from the Royal Foundation. So even though I was on a high, I just received a letter. The phone call contradicted the letter. The phone call was, Trevor, just to let you know that His Royal Highness cannot be seen to be pushing veterans issues. He's got bigger things to be getting. He's got bigger things to be getting on with. I would strongly suggest those words. I would strongly suggest you stop trying to get His Royal Highness involved in veterans issues. But your letter says he's happy to get in touch. So on the surface, the letter says I support, but behind closed doors, he didn't give a shit. And I outed that. In fact, if I remember rightly, the Mail, this is true, the Mail correspondent that does with the military correspondent for the Mail, Mark Nichol, then I spoke to him about it. He says, can I see that letter? I said, no. I said, it's a private letter. I can tell you about the letter, but I don't want you to see it because if I let you see it, you'll copy it. So no. So he tried to he got in touch with Kensington Palace and asked them about if they sent me a letter. They said they had been in touch with me. And he said, can I have a copy of it? And I got annoyed with Mark. I said, Mark, you've went behind my back and you've tried to get this letter from the palace. I said, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing it. I've told you no. Don't go behind my back. And I fell out with Mark for quite some time about that. I don't hold grudges, though. So I just, I talk to him now. But that letter exists. It's in my home. And I called Harry out from that moment onwards. You don't really care about veterans. It's all about your own personal persona. Which it has been, and we're now seeing the real Harry now, his attitude, and that's the person who was protected for all those years under the Royal Banner, where they had PR teams to change the stories and narratives to make them look great. But the real Harry is actually an idiot.
Well, I mean, I remember thinking, this guy's a stud. He's going over. He's really properly working in the front. Because I was like everybody else, dude. I totally was suckered by the mainstream media, and I was like,
we
he's
all
out
were.
the front line and blah blah blah. And then I started hearing this kind of stuff, and I'm like, hang on a minute, this is not right. And also, the stuff about the guys who were looking after him overseas.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, look, if you're going to do that, of course, if it's going to be a huge victory, if the Taliban or someone like that was to get a royal. I mean, they have protection teams for actors going over there. So I understand them having a protection team for a royal. But when you come back, like, come on, dude. Like, don't be wearing all your medals and then, he's the same as the other guys. Like, do something for the troops. Like, I know he's done the Invictus or whatever, but you should be working tirelessly for people that you led. I don't. It just boggles my mind.
Here's something to show you. I've just got it here in front of me. So, I've got one of my buddies who lives in Australia. Who's ex-Australian Special Air Service, used to be in the British Army, went to Australia. Anyway, he sent me this little cover here. I don't know if you can see it.
Let me have a look. Hold on.
So on the back, #N19. So basically, hashtag is support the Nameless 19. The Nameless 19. So guess what? I'll explain. The Australian Special Air Service had a squadron in there. A squadron in there where a lot of people in that unit got gallantry medals. and people that didn't get gallantry medals decided to backstab the ones that did get gallantry medals, and they were accused of war crimes, killing people, unarmed people. And what happened is one of the squadrons in the Australian Special Air Service was disbanded. 19 members of their Special Air Service were accused of war crimes, so they got rid of the squadron. Which has
when was this?
It's taken place right now. It's been going on for some time. In fact,
I know what incident you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking
this year
about.
Though, should I tell? This year,
exclusive.
Come round. Mark my words. This summer, round about June, July, the UK, the British Special Air Service, are going to be dragged through the British courts again for historic allegations of things that happened in Operational Banner in Northern Ireland. But the problem there is that it's all going to. You can stop this, because if members of the Special Air Service are in the courts in Northern Ireland and they're in their 70s or they're in their 80s and they say, I cannot remember, I really cannot remember who Soldier A is or who Soldier G is, they get fined a couple of £100 for contempt of court.
Really?
Yeah, they do, mate. Joe
Biden would be screwed, wouldn't he, if he was over there?
Oh, I know. But what they can say is, which no one said yet, because today's young Special Air Service, today's soldiers, right? They're all they have a different mindset.
Yeah.
Compared to the Iranian embassy guys' mindset, and I'll tell you a story about that in a minute, which you'll laugh your. Can I say tits? Just did. You'll laugh your tits off. So, what they can say in court is, I was carrying out the orders, which was signed off by the Prime Minister, the Director of Special Forces, and the Commanding Officer of 22 SAS. If you've any issues with my job, take it up with them. That should be the tagline that they should all say. Now, do you want, right, this is funny. I know some of the guys, and you know some of the guys that I know. I didn't serve with them, but I do know guys that took part in the Iranian embassy siege, right? So, I'm sitting on a Friday. Everyone knows I go to the Bull Inn. I'm sitting on a Friday. I'm having a shandy. I know the owners of the place, and I'm waiting on my son coming down. He comes in, and he gets changed into his zip switch kit, and I take him to training, right? But I was sitting there, and I noticed a couple of guys coming in. A guy who was dressed like Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future, with like the purple bomber jacket, the jeans, the checkered shirt, and a little hat on. I found out he was 76. He's sitting there, and he's chatting away, and his son's standing beside him all proud. And two guys. And they're chatting away about what's happening in the news in Ukraine. I'm sitting there just from a pint, just looking out the front door, and they're here. They're talking about Ukraine. And the old guy goes, aye, in my day, we would have had that done and dealt with. And I'm sitting there just going. And then he starts going on and on and on. And his son goes, aye, Dad, yeah, you wouldn't get them going up. You wouldn't get them going up those hills in Wales now, the way you did it. Now, so I started to listen. Now, whenever soldiers are talking about in my day, they're talking about the hills in Wales, they're talking about marching with weapons. The word that should be coming out is Brecon, Beacons, Penny Fan. There's none of those words. And I'm just listening. Yeah, we used to carry our rifle and have our wet. And I'm like, okay, wet. Wet's a term used by usually Navy or Royal Marines.
Navy, yeah.
So I'm listening. And I'm just listening away, and he goes, yeah, we used to carry our backpacks and our weapons. So he's not even saying Bergen. He's not even saying the words that he should be saying. It's all sounding a bit weird. And it went on for about 10 minutes, and I looked over, and he just went, all right, kid. And I went, yeah, you in the army, mate, were you? Yep. Now, this is what got me, because no one would ever talk like this. Yep. Was in the SAS. I went, were you? Yep, I did. Now, he said something that made me choke. He went, yeah, on my last mission. My last mission? Don't use those words. My last mission was the Iranian embassy siege, right? And I went, no way, really?
You're like, no way.
I was like, yeah, this is true, mate. This is true. And I'm like, wow. I says, you must know Rusty then. Who? Okay. You know Bob Shepherd? No. Robin Horsfield? No. I started naming all the guys that were part of the team.
That's funny.
He didn't know any of them. And I'm like, you don't know Rusty, Neil, Bob Shepherd, all the guys? He went, no. I said, they were on your team. And he dropped his pint. He dropped his pint and it broke. Right? This is, mate, on my kid's life, this is true. He dropped his pint and he went, I said, mate, relax, grab it. So I cleaned up all the glass, all up from him, took it around one, put it away, sat there. One of his mates bought him another pint, sitting there. And he's looking over, he's now quiet. His son's standing beside him looking at him. Anyway, it went on, but then he starts to get brave again. It's been a long time since I spoke about this. But you must know the guys that you work with. You must know the guys who are on your team. He dropped the second pint. And I just turned away and I just went, fuck's sake. He's been lying to his family for all those years.
You know, it is funny to me, like, especially since...
I grabbed my phone. I went, do you want to speak to Bob? I've got his number here. I mean, you worked with him. Fuck's sake, it just makes me laugh at these people. Remember they say about the old thing about how many people were on the Arena Embassy balcony?
Oh, yeah.
He was there.
Well, you know, we had it. We get it a lot over here, and it's funny because it's particular to where you live. So, for example, in Los Angeles, because you've got Pendleton's down there, relatively close. You know, it's in San Diego. So you get a lot of guys that were in the teams. And so I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm not going to name him, but he's actually a famous Navy SEAL, but I'm not going to name him. But I was dying of laughter when this happened, right? So he's in LA and he's got, of course, because he's a Navy SEAL, right? He's got a big truck, like my truck, right? He's got a big truck. And he's at a 7-Eleven. And this guy pulls in a Prius. It's not a joke, right? And he's got like a team like sticker on. He's got all these things, and of course, straight up, like, there's no Navy SEAL will drive a Prius, right? It's not going to happen. No. So anyway, that's it. And he had a Navy SEAL license plate, because over here you can put like I don't know if you can do it over there, but you can put like this thing around your license plate.
Personalized one on the front.
Not a personalized one. It's something that goes around it. So you put the license plate in it, and you can have like a lot of people have like where they went to college. But he had a Navy SEAL one, and so my buddy's there, and he watches him, and he's like, "There's no way, right? There's just no. You don't know, as you know, from the regiment guys. Like, you couldn't pick one of those guys out of a group of people, right? Physically, I mean, they're dialed in, right? But so you can get all different kinds of people that are Navy SEALs, right? There are big guys, there are little guys, whatever. So you can't tell by the person, but you can tell by the way they carry themselves, right? And the things that they have on and whatever. And so he goes in. I think he goes into the 7-Eleven, and my buddy gets out, and he stops him his way. And normally, if you say what Bud's class you're in, that's one of the things they ask. But he asks something else, and you might know what it is. It's not like what your MOS is. It's something in particular that you would know if you're in the Navy, because a lot of people don't realize is when they go into, so we say Rainbow Six. That's funny. Is that when you join the Navy, and it's like if you join the Army, you can work your way through to the different branches, right? Certainly in America, so you can join, and then you apply for Airborne, and then once you get into Airborne, you go, okay, well, I want to go into Army Rangers, Green Berets, whatever it is, 82nd, 101st, and then you go on to Delta.
Yeah.
But if you don't make it in the Navy, right, into SEALs, then you're swabbing decks or what, you're in the Navy. Like, there's no other option. You're in the Navy. So anyway, he gets out and he says, what's your blah, blah, blah? I can't remember what it is now. And the guy goes and runs, right? And he runs into his car, and my buddy goes down. He tries to rip the number plate off, right? And he's trying, and the guy, like, can you imagine this? Like, he's in a Prius. It's not even sexy. It's a silent electric car. So he pulls back, like, And anyone that knows who's been to Los Angeles, you will know there's no point in trying to run away at it's 4 or 5 o'clock. So the guy tries to get on because it's stolen valor, right? He tries to get on the freeway, and my buddy's like screaming after him in the truck. And he gets onto the freeway, or he's partially on the freeway on the on-ramp, and he goes over and he just rips the number plate off, like rips it off. And he posted on Facebook the part ripped off number plate, and he says, I'm not going to swear, but he says, don't do stolen valor. Like, it's absurd. And you're going to get caught out in this day and age. Too many people. It's different back when the guys were in, when they did the embassy siege, right? Because you went to Northern Ireland and, you might have done a tour in Europe, but there wasn't like 20 years of Afghanistan, right? Or 20, like the guys that have been over there now, they're all, as you are, like hardened combat veterans. You can't, there's too many of them around. And certainly here, there's a ton. I mean, they kind of tend to be in certain pockets, right? So, like Texas, obviously, there's a lot of veterans, and oddly enough, California, because they don't leave once they go and train there, because there's a lot of places up and down the coast. But I've never understood the stolen valor thing. I'll tell you one instance that happened to me, and it was kind of embarrassing. When I did Blackhawk Down, they gave me an Army Ranger T-shirt.
Yeah.
And the guys told me, they said, this is in their words, not my words. They went, after you've done this movie, you are an honorary Army Ranger, right? So you can wear that T-shirt, right? You can wear that T-shirt. And I always felt weird about doing it. I never really wanted to do it. But every now and then, when I felt like I didn't want to go for a run, what I would do is I'd get the T-shirt, literally, and I'd go, these guys are running every day.
Yep.
And these guys are out there right now. Shut the F up, put the shirt on, and go and run. Right. So I did that once I went to a gym in, it's a place called Crunch on Sunset Boulevard. There's a place called Sunset 5, right? And it's actually where, I didn't know this, but my buddy Bill Fickner said, you should go and start training.
Matthew.
What?
You actually struggled there with the name of the gym. Do you not go to the gym that often then, Matthew?
I know. I was thinking about, can't you tell? No, but I was thinking about like whether I say Sunset 5 or whether I say Crunch, because whether people know. But anyway, I'm going there and I'm doing my run, right? And I used to run an hour. I'm dead slow, right? I'm not a runner by any stretch of the imagination. And I got my Army Ranger T-shirt on because I was trying to get in the mindset, right? I was trying to, push through. And I get off and this guy comes up to me and he goes, were you in? And I mean, the thing for me is immediately you can tell I'm not, because I'm British. I said, no, absolutely not. No, I wasn't. I'm not like, and he goes, why are you wearing the T-shirt? Now I'm in a conundrum.
Yep.
Because I don't want to go, I was in the movie Blackhawk Down. I don't want to do that, right? Because I don't want to go around telling people what I do as an actor. That's completely lame, especially in Hollywood.
Did
right?
you take it off to give it to him? Look, mate,
no,
right.
I just went, well, I work with them. I work with these guys. And he was like, in what way? And I'm like, shit. All right. And I totally respected him for what he was doing, because it's like a Ponzi area, right? It's like, it's Sunset Boulevard. There aren't many people going to that gym. Like Dave Navarro, I saw Dave Navarro and what's the name? Carmen Electra working out. Like, those are the people that go to that gym. And I was like, okay, I said, I was in the movie Blackhawk Down. And he went, and he comes over, gives me a big hug, and he goes, you can wear that. You can wear that anywhere you want to go. And I was like, okay, there you go. So, but I, after then I stopped wearing it. I've just got it in my, of course I'm going to keep it, right? I mean, it was something that changed my life. So I keep that. But the stolen valor, like, I think the thing is, more than anything, you see people went over there and died, obviously, and you're shitting on their memory, right, by pretending to be something that you weren't, right? And that's just despicable.
Yeah, but you've got to remember that we live in a culture now, mate, where the people that are doing this back in the 80s were sectioned. We had asylums for them people. Today, today they're either politicians or they are people. No, sorry, I said that wrong. I was thinking of politicians. I didn't mean that. Today they are. Today they're
Politicians
controlling.
lie, Trevor. Really? Do
No,
they really lie? Are they
no,
really
I
out for
meant
themselves?
no.
Like what?
I meant today they run Hollywood, not your Hollywood, Hollywood Belfast. See that? But anyway, back to Blackhawk Down. I'm glad you brought that up.
All right.
So
Are you gonna
you
have me talk
trained?
about me again?
No, you trained with the guys, right?
I did, yeah,
So
yeah.
I knew a guy. Well, I suppose I haven't spoken him. His name's Chris Crabtree. He used to be Steve Parr, but before that he was French Foreign Legion. And whenever he was in French Foreign Legion during the operation in Mogadishu, did you know that the French Foreign Legion actually did the cutoffs and the end stops?
I did not know that.
Well, whenever the Rangers and all the guys were going in to do the job that they did, you had cutoffs to blocking ends, and that was
Yeah.
actually the French Foreign Legion did that.
Really?
Yeah, they did. I wasn't aware of all this. I mean, every day's a school day for me. I learn a lot from different guys. But
Did you know? Did you know this, Trev? Did you know there were 3 Navy SEALs there as well? And the reason why they're not in the movie is because the Navy didn't sign off on them being in the movie. Like that has got to be the dumbest move ever, but they didn't. They were there. Yeah, 3 Navy SEAls.
wow.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to get one of the guys on your podcast? You ever going to bring someone on your podcast?
Yeah, do you know what? I mean, like I say, it's like baby steps right now. But I spoke to a friend of mine. So for those of you that don't know, like when you're an Army Ranger, you have what's called your Ranger buddy, and that guy like follows you everywhere. I don't know if they have that in the British Army as well, but you are always with your Ranger buddy when you're going through RIP or whatever it is. And my Ranger buddy was a guy called Ian Virgo. He's a Welsh guy. Absolutely amazing person, and I've got a story about him that I can't tell. I might ask him to tell the story. Then? Well, because it's like a little tease. You know what I mean? It's like showing the but he and I. What's funny is, and I'm going to embarrass him now, but Ian, he's a right old scrapper. Right, like he loves. I mean, here's the funny thing: you'd see him, and he's got this amazing voice. He's an incredible singer. He's an amazing actor, but he loved to have a fight. Like he loved it. And when we first went over to Hollywood, it was amazing because everyone. You got to understand that Hollywood. You probably don't. Well, you're probably aware of this, right? It's a very insular little kind of like. Even though people talk about Hollywood, the actual inner circle is very, very small. So we just did the biggest movie on the planet when we did that film, and everyone was talking about it. And it was Jerry Bruckheimer working with Ridley Scott about this war movie that was, meant to be amazing. And everyone was talking about it before we even, before it was there were any trailers of it. And so me and Ian, we were Ranger buddies when we went through the training, and then we went through we did the movie, and obviously we all got very, very close. I kind of got very close because I was in between, right? Like, so if you look at the movie, you'll see you had the Army Rangers that were around 20 years old, right? 20, 21 years old. And then you got the Delta guys that were like 30 and up, maybe 35 and up. And so I was 27, I think, when I did that movie.
You had a broken arm as well, didn't you?
Eh?
You had a broken arm as well, didn't you?
I did. I was right in the middle of that, right? So and the way that the movie shot was those guys were off doing Ranger stuff, and I was left behind, right? So the next part of my role was going in with Delta with the CAG guys, and so I was with Eric Bana the whole time. So me and Eric got very, very close, and I remember I was like, who's this guy Eric Bana, right? Because nobody knew who he was. And then I went home and I watched Chopper because I had 2 weeks off. I was on that movie for like 6 months. So I went home and I watched Chopper, and I was like, holy shit, like, this guy is unbelievable. Like he's and I came back to him and I said, Eric, you're going to work for the rest of your life just because of that movie. That is unbelievable. And in Australia, he was a stand-up comedian. You know, he was a very funny, had his own show, the Eric Bana Show, but he wasn't seen as a serious actor, and he's friggin' amazing. So I'd love to get Eric on at some point, and Fichtner.
He did. I'm going to be honest. That one of his favorite movies that I love was Munich. Great movie. Great movie. Yeah.
So here's the thing about Munich. There's two links to Munich. Sorry, two links to Malta. So my wife is Maltese, and when they were shooting Troy, because I did Helen of Troy there in Malta, because there was a period where they would do like a TV miniseries, and then it was inevitably be followed up with a movie. And a lot of times that's because what they would do is test how popular it was. For example, I do believe there was a miniseries on the Titanic that I think Catherine Zeta-Jones was in. I might be wrong, but that's my recollection. And then they did the Titanic. They did Helen of Troy, which I was in, and then they did Troy. And when Eric went over for that, of course, I called him. I'm like, hey, listen, dude, like, I know Malta like the back of my hand. My in-laws are there, like, blah, 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 blah. Well, they also shot a part of Munich in Malta. It's the part where they're walking along the seafront, and that's meant to be Tel Aviv, but it's not Tel Aviv. Yeah, no, it's meant to be Tel Aviv, but I don't think they show the seafront there, but they're meant to be walking down there, but that's Malta. So Eric went there twice because they do a lot of movies there looking like Israel. For example, they did World War Z there with Brad Pitt, and that was doubled for Israel. But let me tell you about Ian. So Ian and I met up when we came back over to Hollywood, and it was just like, you know, I was auditioning for Superman and all these other amazing gigs, those huge gigs, but we'd be partying, right? Because we're young guys, we were going out, we were the toast of the town when we went over there. It was really weird. But Americans, for the most part, certainly in Los Angeles, don't fight. And now I know it's probably because a lot of people carry, right? They carry guns.
Yeah.
But I remember he and I getting so close because people are emboldened, so they'd like get in your face, and it would just be like pop, and it'd be all over. So it was kind of funny having a bunch of like Brits like invade, especially because he's the real deal. Like, he's not a wussy actor. Like, he's, you know, he can handle himself a bit.
Well, I have to thank you. I have to thank you because you mentioned Superman there, didn't you?
I did.
You introduced me to Dean Cain, actually, who's a fantastic actor. He started texting me and stuff. Yeah, he's another actor that I think is fantastic, and I think that your next exploits should involve. I mean, these guys. I mean, you've all got each other's backs, which I think is fantastic to do that.
Yeah.
But
I actually texted Dean, and I was like, "Hey, bro, do you want to do a movie? Because I've got this screenplay that is just amazing. It's like The Expendables, right? It's like, but a more serious Expendables." And I was like, wouldn't it be great if it was like me, Dean, Kevin Sorbo, you know, the guys that basically got pushed out of Hollywood? Like, wouldn't it be great? Because here's what people don't understand is these guys are amazing actors, right? They're really, really good. Like, Dean is a phenomenal actor. You do not become Superman if you are not an incredible actor. And I think that those iconic roles are always difficult to shed, right? Because think about this, like, if you are, even if you're Captain America, right, you wear the mask, right? He's got the partial mask. If you're Spider-Man, there's Spider-Man, and you're separate from Peter Parker. Doctor Strange is different, but a lot of those characters, like Black Panther, is wearing the mask. But Superman is Superman. Like, you are Superman. Like, the face is the same, even though they put the glasses on and take it off, right? You are Superman. So you are completely associated with that. And it's part and parcel of doing a job like that. You go, okay, well, I'm playing Superman. And, but Dean, I'll tell you something about Dean. I remember going into an audition, and so I mentioned this before. So there's levels of audition, right? So you have the bottom level, which is like the kind of like cattle call, like everybody turns up. Then there's the next level up, which is producers, where there's maybe 5 of you. that are going in, and that might include 3 that they just chose because that's who they want. They don't know if they can get them. Because even when you're going from, it's not necessarily you're going to do it, right? You might say, no, it's not enough money, or it's not right for me, or whatever. And then you might have a couple of guys that got through the auditions and they're just seeing if it works, right? I remember being in Warner Brothers and I remember seeing Dean, and he was the sweetest person. He was going around to the people around the room. Like he was a football player when he was younger, and he was going and talking about football and just being so nice. And I've been in a position where there's someone who has a massive profile like that, right? He had a worldwide profile, and they are complete assholes, right? There are some that aren't, like Mark Harmon, who's a complete sweetheart, but he was so nice, and he was so nice to everybody. And I remember going, if my path crosses with him again, I'm going to tell him about this. So he's a terrific guy. He's a really
it must be
terrific
awful, though.
guy.
It must be awful in a way to be an actor or an actress. Must point that out that that you must come across people that are fantastic, but you must come across people with egos that are so big that if you mention their egos are so big, it puts directors, producers off hiring you again. So you must have to bite your lip a lot.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that. I mean, I've been pretty fortunate. There was one guy that was a real disaster. And most of the time, actually, the bigger you get, the less bullshit you have that comes with you. That's what I found. You know, like, so when my first ever movie was with Michael Caine, and I was like, it's Michael Caine. And he was like the sweetest guy, like totally down to earth. It's funny because when I first met him, we had to do a photo shoot before we did the read through. I think it was before we did the movie. I'm not sure if the movie was the read through, because what you do is when you're going to do a film or when you're going to do a TV show, you'll sit down, you'll do a tone reading because people just want to hear it. They just want to hear the words. So I sat down and so I did the photo shoot first, and he came up and he went, "Hello, my name's Michael." And I'm like, I know you are, dude. I've watched you since I was a kid. And then I remember sitting in the room. And look, I mean, I'm just like everybody else. I mean, I am an actor. I do it, but I'm also a fan of these people. You know, I'm maybe more than most because I look at what they do, like really what they do, what their skill set is. So I'm sitting there and he's like, "Do you know?" And I'm like, that guy sounds just, oh, it is him. Yeah, read. Because you're so used to, like, you know, do you remember that skit that was like, "My name's Michael Caine. I'm a nosy neighbor." Remember that one, right? So, and that was like stuck in my head, like, what's his name? Paul Whitehouse, who's amazing. And it was Michael Caine. And here's a quick story for you, Trevor. I've never said this, but this is amazing. So in the movie Shiner that I did with him, I had to be. It was a great cast, actually. Martin Landau, Andy Serkis, who was amazing, Frank Harper, great cast. So I have this fight, and I'm being dragged out into the middle of nowhere, and me and Michael have this, like, you know, argument. And I won't tell what happens for anyone who wants to go and watch the movie, but it's worth watching. And I'm standing there, and it's freezing cold. And before I was going to go into the thing, so I come out of the boxing ring and I've just got my shorts on. I'm like, you know what? I need to get hold of it's little things like this, right? You, with more experience, I need to get hold of a robe. Else I'm going to freeze. So I've got the robe on. It's like freezing cold in the middle of the East End of London. And he's standing there, hardworking guy. And he looks down. This is no joke. And he's looking at his suit, and he goes, "I'm going to have this. I'm going to take this home." Like that. And I'm like, dude, you're worth like $100 million. But he's still got that, like, working class man's mindset, you know, that he was just so grateful to be there. And
out of all, Michael Caine's fantastic. Clearly, he's iconic. But out of all the film stars you've worked with, Is there anyone that you work with that whenever you were going on set, you felt a little bit jiggity, a little bit starstruck?
Yeah, I mean, all right. So the first time I worked with Michael, and I'll tell
Yes.
you what happened with that because it was a weird experience. So if you guys go and watch the movie Shiner, the first scene that I shot with him, he's on the top of a building where I'm playing his son, and he's a big boxing promoter, and he's pushing me for a world title fight, and I don't feel like I'm ready, but he's pushing me, and so the scene is on the top of this rooftop overlooking London. It's great, and so I go up there and I'm like, oh my God, it's Michael Caine, it's Michael Caine. Like, don't mess up. Because sometimes you can get in your head, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you freeze. It doesn't matter who it is. And I've done this 1,000 times with all different people, but it's kind of pressure you put on yourself. But I'm like, it's Michael Caine, like, don't mess up. And what they'll do sometimes is they will say, we're going to get your coverage, right? Which means the camera points towards you, right? When it's their coverage goes that way. Now, some actors are like, I want to get my scene first, right? I want to get mine. And when you have a good rapport, like some people might say, you know what, I've had a lot of scenes today. I want to get warmed up into it. So get my coverage second, if you don't mind. And another, like me, I'm like, I'll do it. Let me just go. So anyway, he comes up and he goes, do you mind doing your coverage first? I was like, no, it's fine. Shit. Right? Like, I'm like, oh. And we start. I did the scene. I did my lines. I'm like, okay. And he's reading because he's got. When you do a film, if you guys have seen, you get a normal screenplay, right? And it's like A4 sized paper. And what you do is you get sides. I don't have any around here, but. And it's like mini sides, like it's like that, so you can put it in your pocket, so you can just have a quick look at them. And he's got these sides. I've never seen them before. I was like, what is this? What witchcraft's this, right? And then, so he shoots my scene, and then it goes round on, and I'm like, okay, he's all right, whatever. And he goes, all right, Mac, can we run the lines? So I'm like, yeah, I'm running the lines. I'm running the lines with Michael Caine. Like, this is crazy. So he goes, okay, and over there it's different. I think they say turn over. They go, turn over, right, which means the camera starts going. Over it says rolling, and then they go. And I remember watching him, and all of a sudden he just became 12 feet tall, right? I don't know what it was. His presence, the way he carried himself, I was like, holy crap, like, and I realized I was watching him, and I hadn't said my line. I hadn't repeated my line back to him. I was too busy like, holy crap. And like I wait, and I'm like, oh shit, it's my line. And so I said my line, and then we carried on. But he was super sweet, and I said something to him towards the last day of shooting. We were doing this limo scene, and I came out and I was like, Michael, do you have any pointers for me, young actor? I was 25 or 26. So I was like, do you have any pointers for a young actor? And he goes, you're doing just fine, son. That's it. And then I
You
found
reminded
out.
me there.
What?
You said something there made me laugh because as a member of the public, we have that idea where the director goes, action, right? But
Yeah.
Clint
I bet
Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. What does Clint Eastwood do?
All right. So Clint Eastwood has this thing where he doesn't say action. And so because it's something to do with the horses and doing spaghetti westerns. I don't know what it is. So a friend of mine was doing Mystic River with him. Tom Geyer is in Blackhawk Down. And him and Kevin Chapman, two guys I've worked with, they both worked on Mystic River. And they said there was this. So everyone knows this, that he doesn't say action, right? He'll go, okay then, or whatever it is. So this day player comes in. Day player is like a guy that comes in and plays a role for one day, right? And so that is nerve wracking, right? You come in and you're like, everyone's established, it's clean, it's like So anyway, they this guy comes in and they get everything up and they go, okay, rolling. And Clint goes, all right then. And the guy's like sitting there like this, and he's like, and Clint goes, when you're ready. And he's like there, and he's like this, and then he leans in, Trevor, and he goes, Accione. Which I thought was just great. Accione. It's just
There was
freaking
one thing he
great.
does at the end of the scene. He doesn't say cut. He goes, "That's enough of that."
Yeah. I've had enough of that. And the other thing is, what he does do is he said to my buddy, oh gosh, who told me this story? He turned up on set and he goes, Clint, I'm thinking, in this scene, I can do this and I can do and I can do that. And he goes, do what you did on the tape. And that's it. Because Clint doesn't have auditions, right? You send the tape in and then, he gives you the role. The other thing he doesn't do, you have one shot with him as a script. So you'll send him a script and he just reads it and he likes it and he does it, or he doesn't like it. That's it. So, but he's an absolute legend. Yeah. Grumpy just put on their Gunny Highway, that movie. I remember watching Heartbreak Ridge. Oh,
yes.
What a great role. What a great role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
his son's doing well, though. His son's doing well. His son, Scott, well, let's be honest.
Scott, yeah.
He's a good actor, but he had the back door in, didn't he, with the father, Clint?
He did, but, that can only take you so far. It opens the door for you, but then you got to go and deliver. And he's pretty good, to be honest. He's good. And that can be as much as a curse, you're like, I'm going to go and be Clint Eastwood's son. I mean, those are giant shoes to fill, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone can fill Clint Eastwood's shoes, but
no, I'd love to work with him. I was invited to a lunch with him, and I was put right next to him, and he didn't turn up for the lunch, and I was like, oh crap. Because I really wanted to talk with him. I mean, he's like Mel Gibson, right? They are phenomenal actors, but as directors, they are just off the hook, crazy, brilliant.
Well, I can't mention this on your live stream, and you can't mention it yet, but I am looking forward to a movie being released in the UK.
Yeah, you know what? I can talk about it.
Can you? Okay.
Well, I can't talk about it, but I can tell you what it is, because the Daily Mail just did a thing on Andy Wakefield, who is the director of it.
They did a hatchet job on him.
They did, yeah, they did. And you guys are gonna. I think you have to be very careful about what you say on YouTube, right? So, but you guys are going to be really, really pissed off when you see what this movie's about. Well, the contents of the film. So. But it was great to work with him. He was a lovely guy, one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. Again, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And that's coming out. We're having a New York premiere on the 31st of May.
Okay.
And then we'll see how it goes from there. So I'm looking forward to going back home and watching, putting Protocol 7 out. And hopefully, listen, we should have a watch party and get all the Brits that are over there. And this should happen actually for all my followers on here and on social media. All come to the premiere and we'll go out for a drink or something like that, or we'll do it over in the UK, Trev. That'd be great.
I will get my tux ready for your launch in the UK. Yes.
Right on. And your pants, because I know you did that last time. It's not going to happen. Oh, hold on. All right. Hey, I'm getting. Can I do this? Can I do this fancy YouTube thing where it says, "Can I answer some questions?"
You can answer. It's your course. Go ahead. What's the questions?
See this? Do you like this? Foxy. All right, Foxy. If Matthew Marsden, you want to ask a question? Matthew, yeah, I am up for questioning. I mean, am I up for questioning? With the police? No, I'm not. All right. That's funny. Is Matthew Marsden planning on seeing the new Borderlands 2024 movie? I don't know. I mean, I did a movie called Bounty Killer. You should go watch it. And a lot of people compare that to you've seen it, right? To Mad Max and to Borderlands.
Yeah.
So it gets a lot of comparisons to that. Texas Viewing Party. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. We should go and have it. Okay. Dawn C, I'm there. Matthew, tell me where I went. Right on. You two, Frugal Stu says you two are great together. I don't know what that means. Does it mean
it means I would make a good wife.
You know it. No, you can't cook. I've seen what you do. No, actually, it's not true. All right, listen, I'm going to ask right now. Get your questions in right now. Come on, type away. Type away. I'm going to give him a minute to type away on this. This is. Do you guys like this? Are you enjoying this? I know Trevor does this all the time and he's really good at it. But like I said, I wanted to. Me and Trevor have these conversations like most days, and it's hilarious. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to call Trev. I'm going to say, hey, should we just go and do my first live stream right now? So, all right, come on, guys. Let's get your questions in. But listen, here's one thing I would like to say. I'm going to. Oh, here we go. Hold on. How did you get on with special effects explosions? You worked in SFX for a Marvel film. Do you know what? Blackhawk Down was very realistic. We didn't have a lot of CGI in it. We had it, you know, Trev, when we did that film, there'd be like bullet hits, like all the way down. So what they do is they bury the bullet hits, so they'd pop up like that under the ground, and we didn't know where they were. I mean, they were very careful for us not to get hurt. And what they would do as well is they get paintballs that have dirt pockets, so they hit you, go, and so that's what they do when you see films and you know the rounds are going off around them. That's what they're doing. They've got the guys with paintballs there, and they'll shoot them as.
It's more realistic though. If you don't know where they are and you're doing your role and you're moving forward and they're going off to your left and right, your reactions are actually real reactions from what's going off. So it's
yeah, it was. I mean, it was real shock a lot of the time. We had a lot of. I remember. This is one of the things I remember that film, because I wasn't in the fast roping scene where they went in and they you know they did the Blackhawks do that flare and they drop and the fast ropes come down. Although we were taught how to fast rope, none of our guys did it. Although the guys are on the sides of the little birds, and I did do that. I did off screen. I went off and sat on the side of the little bird, and we went on an attack run, which is badass. But I watched the scene where they came in with the chalks, and all I can say is it was like the end of the world was coming. Like you have 4 Blackhawks, 4 little birds, and 2, I think they were Hueys, maybe they were Bells, with cameras on them. And it was like the end of the world was coming. It was so loud. I remember thinking, goodness me, like that is really, really intimidating if anyone's coming in like that. And those guys, the 160th SAW, were, yeah, you get. So I'm just saying, I'm seeing all these questions and they're seeing me laugh at it because you guys that have come on, which I presume a majority Trevor's followers, are fantastic. They're very funny.
They're good, yeah.
But here's what I want to say: this, Trev. If every single person that followed you on YouTube, I'm just saying, gave 10 quid, we could make First into Sangin for £1 million.
Well, you got to burn, yeah. And listen, in a better financial climate, that would be possible. But right now, a lot of people are broke, and I do get it. So yeah, I mean. Of course, and one day we will make it. Trust me, we will make it. You spoke about the choppers coming in there, and it sort of took me back a bit. I remember in 2006, I know it seems like a lifetime ago, but I remember being on a chopper, Chinook, CH-47, and I remember 3 of the Chinooks. We'd practiced for days, Matt. We'd practiced for days with the Chinooks on the pan, the tailgates down, and we practiced going on reverse order, running off, and we practiced, and we flew off to do this mission. So basically, we were flying into an area which was heavily protected by Al-Qaeda and Taliban working together. And the 3 Chinooks took off. It was early hours in the morning. It was really, really dark. And we had, as we were, the three of us took off, we were moving around the air. And as we got closer and closer, we got given the countdown. Okay, guys, 5 minutes. Okay, guys, 3 minutes. And then I just looked out, and I remember seeing outside the side of it, the door gunners were engaging. And there was red and green tracers all over the sky. It looked unbelievable. It was a little bit scary, if I'm honest. Your arse was going like that. Your heart, you can hear your heart rate. And I was like, wow, heart sounded really loud. And then I remember one of the Chinooks that came across the net. We've taken a casualty. I mean, we took a casualty in the air. It was that accurate. So one of the Chinooks went off to deal with the casualty. One of the Chinooks was going around. It needed to go back. It had to fly back to Garesh full price to refuel, which meant our Chinook landed with 2 Chinooks missing. And we got off, and we got off into a circle. We started moving off. W2 Mark Williams, Sergeant Major, was killed within a few minutes of that. I was a platoon sergeant, having to take him. So that heart rate going, you're having to move off one of your headpieces so you can hear, because you can actually hear your heartbeat, because the adrenaline is pumping that much, mate. It's scary, but it's also the most exciting thing I've ever done, where you're just ready to go. I mean, you have that look where you just want to go and deal with these people and get done with.
Did you feel, because when we did Blackhawk Down, the guys, so if you remember the film, there was a guy that flew in and picked up the Delta guy that had been injured and flew off. That was the guy that did it for real in Mogadishu. And he said to me that it was exactly like the real thing. That it felt very, very much like the real thing.
Yeah.
Because we had all the real gear and everything. And look, and this is just in a kind of like lame actor way. What was interesting was, so for me, I was a saw gunner, right? So I had the M249, the Mini-Me, the 249 Mini-Me, which has got like a 50-pound drum on the bottom, and I had a 50-pound drum with me, if I can remember. And you have all the rest of the gear, right? You got your then it was like ceramic plates. I don't know if that's what you had. Do you have ceramic plates on?
We had plates, yeah. We had front and back, yeah.
Yeah, so we had ceramic on, and then the K-pot, which was really, really heavy. I mean, it wasn't like those little things that the Delta guys wear. But the moment when they said action, I did not feel the weight of any of that stuff. I just didn't feel it. And so did you, is that what it was like for you? And then at the end of the day, you're like, oh my God, like I'm exhausted.
Do you know what, mate? I'll not talk about going through, but as a platoon sergeant, there's this thing where you're meant to carry 10% of your platoon's ammunition. It's unrealistic. You can't. But if you've got a 60mm mortar mount, you've got GPMGs, you've got your LMGs, your mini-me's, and then you have grenades, you have all this stuff, and then you've got batteries, spare batteries, radios and stuff, and water. It's impossible to carry it all. But you know what I found? And I spent the first 8 years of my career not knowing that this could actually happen. Now, we have a thing called the bandolier, 150 bullets. It goes, you know what bandolier goes, it's a green material, opens up. But you know what? A lot of people, right, truthfully, would put it around here and carry it that way. Or carry 2 of them to look going across here. But do you know what I found was the easiest way to carry that? And you didn't even know you had the weight. I would cut the bandolier, the nylon bit, and I would filter it through here. So see if you put the ammunition on your back, the 150 rounds here, if you put it at the small of your back and you tie it really, really tight and stand up, that's there. You cannot feel that weight. So I was carrying 150 rounds just there, spare, along with my 6 magazines bombed, 2 spare magazines bombed. I would take the magazines off my CMT, off my people back in camp, and I would carry them magazines bombed up, and all my pouches had magazines on it. My backpack, if someone had emptied a magazine and I happened to be with them, I'd take their empty mag, give them a full mag, and I'd be bombing that up for them. I mean, I used to carry quite a lot. You don't feel weight when your adrenaline's going and there's rounds coming down and bouncing at your feet. You don't feel the weight in your back because you're so pumped up.
Do you feel it later though? Do you get really knackered? Is there like an adrenaline dump?
Well, yeah. Coming back in to land in Bashan to get refueled and stuff, we would get off and walk this side of and you'd get off, and I swear to God, you were soaked. You were completely soaked. Yeah. You were drenched. And the minute you got off the chopper and you sat down, you felt yourself go. Someone had to help you get back on your feet, mate, because you were your body had just rested.
But there are incidents with people where they've got shot and they don't feel it. You know, they just carry on, and then they're like, I mean, obviously it doesn't hit bone or anything like that. It might go through them, but they were like, they'll feel a pinch.
I've seen it once, and that was on an Estonian soldier we picked up in Garesh. we were flying in, and we had to stop off at Gores to pick up casualties on the way back to Camp Bastion, and we had a couple of Estonian soldiers that had been involved in gun battles. One was on his back on a stretcher, being shot, but the one carrying him on the chopper on the stretcher carried him on, and he had all this blood in his arm, and he carried on his mate. Adrenaline was still pumping, and the medics went, "No, you sit down." He had been shot and didn't know. So I seen an Estonian soldier who had been shot, who didn't know he'd been shot.
Yeah, there's it's kind of funny. It's funny being in a film that kind of really did a good job of showing what I mean. Everyone.
Yeah.
I remember going back. This is a bit of a name drop here, but when I first went to Hollywood, I was hanging out with Robbie Williams quite a bit, and he has SBS guys that protect him. And I said, "Hey, Robbie, do you want to go and watch the film?" I don't normally watch my stuff, but I knew he got two guys with him that I thought might dig it. What did he say to me? I want to go and watch it, and I said, "Okay, I'll come with you." One of the two, but anyway, I went with him. It was at the Star. It was in Universal City. So anyway, we go there. It was in the middle of the day, and I was very proud of the film. Right, I think it was number 1 at the box office or number 2 at the box office,
yeah.
and I go there, and I was with 2 of his guys, and I came out, and I was like, I was all pumped, because it's this great film, and I didn't realize it really affected the 2 guys that were his bodyguards, and Robbie just goes, "Oh, I gotta go, Matt," and I was like, "Oh no, I didn't even think about it." I didn't.
Did Robbie say to you? Did Robbie say to you, "Well done, Matthew, on your smash hits solo song that you brought out in the charts"?
The thing about Robbie is he is actually. I got to know him quite well, and he's he's another one that is just like a regular fella. That's like, how did I get here? This is amazing. And, I was actually with him when he got a tattoo on his back. He was staying at Sunset Marquee off Sunset Boulevard. And he goes, "Hey, Matt, come round." And, we were just like 2 guys from the Midlands in America hanging out. And I went round and he was like, "I'm going to have a tattoo done." And oddly enough, from my recollection, the tattoo artist had to finish what she was doing, and then she would come round later. And I'm pretty sure, finish a regular work day and then come round and do it personally for him. And I'm pretty sure it was Kat Von D that did his tattoo. So,
all right, okay.
It's a weird world.
Yeah,
it's a weird world. But he's a a very down to earth person. I can't talk. Can I just say Teresa Mahoney? I'm not talking about that. I mean, I will say this. Can I address this a second, Trev, about guns on set? All right. So when we did Blackhawk Down, just so you guys know, whenever I've been on set and I've had a gun, the armorers deal with it, right? So the armorer loads the magazine for you. He brings it up. Normally there's tape around it, and it'll be like, you get like quarter loads, half loads, and that's to do with how big the bang is. And of course, some weapons, Trev, as you know, they won't cycle unless they have enough gunpowder to get the compression to cycle back. So you don't touch that stuff at all. You don't touch the weapon, you don't have it on you, you don't touch the ammo. And what you'll do is you'll stand there, and they will come up and they will say, "Here's the ammo." They'll give you the rifle. They'll show you that the bolt's clear. Right? They'll pull the bolt back. The chamber's clear, especially like an M4. And then they'll put in the magazine for you. Right? They'll put it in. They don't always rack it. I mean, with me, because I've got extensive experience with firearms, they'd let me rack it myself. With the M4. They can sometimes rack it, and then they'll say, "All right, take your finger off the trigger. Do not touch it." Like if you're seen with your finger even in the well, you will get shit. They will be very, very unhappy with you. But they're right there. They're never that far away from you. And the moment they'll say, "Look, the moment you finish shooting, you put it on safe, and then you just take your hands off it." and that's it. So that's normally the way it is. But you can't go through and check every round. You just can't do that. You can't, I'm not, even if I was going to load, because the 5.56 rounds are crimped at the ends. So it's like someone's got I don't know if they've got like a crimper or whatever it is, the ends crimped. So it's not like a proper bullet, right? Like a full metal jacket. It's not like that. Like it's just crimped at the end. So they'll put those in. And I had that with the Barrett when I did Rambo. I had these giant 50 cal. In fact, I've got two of the shells up there. These giant 50 caliber rounds, but they were again crimped at the end. So they would show you like the inside of the magazine. Then they'll show you, rack it back, show there's nothing in the chamber. Same with pistols, nothing in the chamber, and then off you go. So the truth of the matter is, that is all done for you. So I do not believe that he's going to be found liable because it wasn't his job to do that. And people might say that's wrong or whatever, but the practicality of using a weapon on set is that you cannot check all the rounds. I mean, you're doing Blackhawk Down, you're getting through 2 and 3 mags at a time, right? Because the camera's not always on you. So you just can't do it. I mean, they might say to you, look, just double tap, like, just do 2. The ones we had in Blackhawk Down, there were automatic weapons, so it wasn't just semi-automatic, so they were proper.
I think the judgment comes, obviously we're talking about the actor, but I think the judgment comes from myself with a military background and civilians. Our look at this as a different take. We don't know the actor's world. We do not know how it works on a set.
Yeah.
But from a military or a veteran standpoint or civilian standpoint, we look at this with the view of when the weapon's in your hand, you're in control.
Yeah.
So anything that happens to that weapon while it's in your hand, you are responsible. In control. You have to be held accountable. For instance, when I walk into a room and I see a pistol or I see something there, my job would be to go and grab that weapon system, right? First thing I would do is apply the safety.
Yeah.
Remove the magazine, cock it, clear it. That weapon's clear. So the minute you lift a weapon system, though, it's your responsibility. So that's from a military veteran standpoint. So
and as a gun owner, and over here in America, I'm a gun owner. I have a bunch of guns, but it is a different thing on that set because you do have to trust. Else you'd have to sit there as an actor and watch it. Now, listen, I'm different, right? I take that approach, right? Yeah. I don't check all the bullets, right? Because you can't. Because think about it, how can you? They're loading They're loading hundreds and hundreds of magazines. Yeah. And they have to do it like the night before or on the morning of, they're doing it right there. So, So, for example, I'm not going to say which movie I did, but I had to have a pistol and I had to point it at someone. And the guy comes over to me, the armorer, and he shows me the pistol, and it was a revolver. So, he opens up with a revolver. He shows me, sometimes they'll come over and they'll show you each bullet. With a revolver, it's different, right? Because you just show you the bullet, put it in. It's different to like loading 17 rounds into a Glock or whatever. But so you put those in, and I saw them, and he said, "Okay, you're good to go." Click. And so what I did was I walked over to the actress that I was pointing the gun at, and I opened the gun up again. And I said, and the guy just went, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I said, "Listen, I've got to point this gun at that person, and they need to know that this weapon is clear, right? There's nothing in it. And there's nothing in that, because the thing about what's his name, Brandon Lee, there was a bit of wadding like still stuck right in the barrel, and I think that's what shot it, and that what killed him. So I mean, I was a fair distance away, but it doesn't matter. I mean, that's gonna kill somebody. So I just showed her and I said, "Look, I've looked at. Do you want to look at the bullets? They're all. I can confirm that they're all crimped and whatever." So I did that, but that's because I'm a gun owner. A lot of dude, I've been on set where people have been like doing, I don't know what they call, like not Evil Knievel, but they're like, they've got the pistols and they're getting the pistols and they're swinging them around like that. So they go around, around, around. I'm like, what are you doing? When we did Blackhawk Down, I didn't know about flagging. I did, I'm in my head, I'm an actor, and so I've got that M249, and it's an M249. No, it's a 249 saw. It's a mini me, right? But I moved it like that, and I flagged the guy in front of me. Dude, the ranger that was there came up and he hit me, like just went wallop. What are you doing? And I was like, what? And he goes, you do not flag. You do not flag. And he showed me how to, like, because they do low port, right? The army does low port, so they sweep at the bottom where the Navy SEALs actually put it up.
Yeah,
it's funny when they get into an argument about which way is better. But so, and I've never done that ever since, ever. Don't point the gun at something you're not willing to destroy.
The up system is it's normally special forces do that, or it's used in break contact drills. We used that type of way break contact drills in Afghanistan 2006.
You do high port on that.
Well, if we were right, for instance, if we got into a contact, right, regardless which way it was, the first two, right, a couple of rounds in the direction, and then you drop to the knee and you engaged, right? Two is engaged. If you needed to get up, you've seen, for instance, if I had my buddy on my left, we'd fire, we'd look at each other, weapons would go up, we would turn in to face each other, and then move back. And the other two would, and you'd move backwards, or you'd move forwards, or you'd move out of the killing zone, the killing area, and get yourself safe.
Do they call that overbounding over there or not?
We just call it, well, it was break contact drills where we just, we knew our spacings, we knew where we had to go, we knew our pairs, we knew which way to, no matter if we could hit from the front, the rear, the left, or the right, we just knew to do exactly, it was the same drills, and we practiced that daily, 4 or 5 times a day, until we knew it. We practiced it until we didn't need to say the words like, up, move, there was no words, we just knew what we had to do.
Yeah, you knew what you were doing.
And we just it worked a treat, mate.
Like
well,
slick.
Listen, buddy, my phone's got 12% on it.
Yeah, we should go. It's been an hour. It's been beautiful, baby. It's been beautiful.
We will do it again, Captain.
And you guys tell me if you enjoyed it, and if me and Trevor we can alternate. We'll go on each other's channel. Obviously, he's the big dog. He's got what?
We'll do Well, then it would help advertise your channel on my channel, but we should do it on yours to get you past 5,000, to get you to 10,000 subscribers. That's our aim, to keep pushing.
Hey, you tell your people. I heard if you build it.
Trevor writes Army.
Is this man an actor? Yes. Sorry, so I'm just answering questions. This is kind of cool. I like this. But Trevor, thanks, dude. Like, I feel weird. I feel I can't be all official. Oh, thank you for coming on my channel.
You can
thank
be.
You very much.
You can be whoever you want to be.
We don't do that, do we, Trev?
You're in the land of opportunity.
All right, well, you better go. All right, so...
catch you later. Thanks everyone,
buddy.
For tuning in.
Thank you, everyone. You're awesome. Subscribe, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, right? That's what you have to say, Trev. Tell them all.
Make sure you all like and subscribe to Matthew's channel.
There you go. All right.
Catch you later, buddy. Bye.
See you later, bud.
Bye.